everyone, Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. Today's project is for the Gentleman Crafters Design Team blog hop, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this fun interactive flip card. So this one right here. All right, it's a nice little card. I'm going to show you what stamp sets and what materials we use to actually create this project in a moment. But it's a nice little project. And it's really simple to make, and like I say, interactive for the person who's going to receive it. Something different. All right, so let's go through and show you what we are going to be using. So the colours I have picked is going to be Pool Party, Bermuda Bay, Petal Pink, and also Calypso Coral. So they're the colours which we're going to be using, as well as your basic tuxedo black, your Memento tuxedo black ink. We would also be using the stamp set. The main stamp set will be the Butterfly Gala stamp set, which also coordinates with a lovely butterfly duet punch as well. So we're going to be using that one there, as well as the classic label punch to help us out with some of the mechanisms. Another stamp set here, Make a Difference, just to help us with some of the sentiments on there, but obviously you can change this up to whatever you've got, or whatever sentiments you want to use really, but obviously I wanted to spell out something, so I'm using the Make a Difference alphabet stamp, which is really nice. The detailed trio punch as well will be used just to finish off, do some finishing touches, as well as some blends. So we're going to be using the dark Petal Pink and also the light Bermuda Bay Stampin' blends, just to add a little bit of texture and just a little bit of fun elements to the card as well. All right, so let's crack on. Let's just clear up and make a little bit of room. I've gone and cut my card base down to a slightly different size to what we would normally do, because I needed to make it slightly smaller so it still fitted in the envelope with the pull tab as well. So the card base which I've done is measuring at 14 centimeters wide by 20 centimeters this way, and I've scored it at 10 centimeters down the middle. So it's given me a 10 by 14 card front. Okay, it will make sense because because there's going to be a bit overhanging here, so this part needs to go into the envelope as well, and if we made it to the normal size it wouldn't fit into an envelope, so hence why we've got to make the card base slightly smaller. I've also got myself some Pool Party, so this is going to be my matte layer. So this here, as we normally do, is always about half a centimetre smaller than the first part, so we're now at 13.5 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. I've got a bit of designer series paper, now a half a centimetre lower, so we're down to 9 centimetres by 13 centimetres. So that there is a perfect layer to go on that, giving you a nice even edge all the way around. Okay, we have got a tab piece here measuring at 5 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and this is going to get scored at 1.5 and 2 inches. Okay, I'll give you that in centimetres in a moment. Okay, so that's that one, and I've already gone ahead and I've already gone and die cut using the rectangle stitch dies and so on these. So there's the two sizes which I've picked here, and then I've matte and layered them on some Pool Party cardstock already. So this is the one which is the sentiment's going to go on, and this is the one where I'm going to do the front panel. So we're going to come back to those ones in a moment. So you can use whatever shape you want. Stay tuned to the end and I'll show you another card using some other dies as well, and show you another variation. So stay tuned right until the end to see that, and I'll show you that stepped up version. So there we go, so that's those. What I'm going to do first of all, because we need to get this stuck, and drop the lid, I'm going to put some glue all the way over the back of this. He says, if the glue will work. Let's grab another one, shall we? So you need to put some glue all the way over and in the middle on this one as well. And we're going to stick this to the card base, to that matte layer, not to the card base. The card base is still over here. So to that. The designer series paper, which I've decided to use as well, is from the Bird Ballad designer series paper, and I'm just loving the subtle colours which are on this. So this is really nice. So if you like this paper, grab it soon. So if you're watching this before June 2020, it might still be available, but if it's after June 2020, it's now retired, I'm afraid. So there we go. So that's that part done. Just leave that for a second just to stick up, because I'm going to punch something out in the middle here. So I'm going to use the classic label punch to create my mechanism, or to create the hole for the mechanism. If you haven't got this, obviously you just need to have something which you can cut some kind of slit or hole in this. And the classic label punch is perfect. And the way that it's been designed, I'm just going to stick it right the way in so it doesn't go any further. I'm going to eyeball it. If you wanted to, we could get a pencil and we could mark the exact center if we wanted to. I'm just going to eyeball it. So I think that's roughly around about this. That looks centralized like that. And then I'm going to punch it out. Save this bit for later on, which is why you needed some glue all the way over it, because if we didn't put any glue in the middle, this part would have fallen away from this part. So we'll save that. We might use that later on. We may not. So that's what we are now left with. Okay. Going to put that to one side for a moment, and we're going to now move over to the mechanism. This one here, so the tab, as we mentioned, was 2 inches wide by 5¼ inches in, or I've actually done this at 5½, sorry, 5½ inches, 2 inches by 5½ inches. Okay, we are going to grab the trimmer or your scoreboard, and what you want to do is we want to score this at 1½ inches and at 2 inches. And that's that. So that's giving us you can see the score lines in there now. There we go. And I'm just going to now fold this over on itself, 1 and 1. Okay. Just going to grab myself a bone folder. Alright, so that's going to be your mechanism. What we now need to do is we now need to insert this into our slot, which we've just done, and we need to position it. So, bit of advice, if you have it, so as you're positioning it, have it opened up flat like this, and then fold it over on the second score line. And you want to make sure, actually it's going to go roughly like that. Okay, because this is where the pull tab's going to be down at the bottom down here, and we want to do it, and we want to stick a little bit here to this part right here. You also want to be careful that this score line doesn't go, when it's going to be pulled down, doesn't go below this part right here. Otherwise, when you go to push it back up again, it will get stuck. Okay, so just be aware of that. That will come to make sense in a moment. Before we move on with this, I'm going to take, because this is going to be the bottom part, which is going to be pulled, I'm going to grab the detailed trio punch, and I'm just going to pop it in there, and I'm just going to round off these corners. Just makes it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And then on the other side, I'm then going to pop this in, and I'm then going to just punch out some detail. Okay. So it just gives you a nice little finishing touch to the pull tab. So obviously you can leave that blank, you can leave that square if you want to, but it's just something which adds a nice little finishing touch to your card. Okay, so let's move over onto this one here now. I'll grab my glue again, and then what I want to do is I want to pop some glue on the base right here. Again, not using too much because I don't want it to splodge out and move up and then go over to the top half there. And then I'm just going to bring that over like so, and then stick that down. All right, so that's that part done. We'll come back to that in a moment, so I'm going to let that stick up and get good and stuck, and I'm going to move on to the next part. So we are going to be using the, as I mentioned, the Butterfly Gala stamp set here, and I'm going to be using the sentiment which is in here. Again, you can switch the sentiment out for whatever you fancy, but the one which I'm going to be using is the thank you ever so much, or thank you so very much, to go in the middle. All right, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stamp this in black. And we will just stamp that in the middle. There we go, good. Yeah, let's just clean that off for a second. So I'm using the good old Stampin' scrub here, so you can clean it one side and then dry it the other. And I'll pop that stamp away. I'm also going to be using the butterfly from this one, so I've just picked the butterfly which I want. So I'm going to get out the other bits which I need as well. So I need the stem later on, and I also need these bits here as well. So what I've picked from this stamp set, like what I've just taken out, is I've taken the body out, and I've taken these parts out for the wings as well, just to put those to one side ready for me in a moment. All right, so I'm done with this one here for the moment. I'm now going to bring, I'll do that one in a second. I'm now going to bring in some scrap paper. So I'm going to just ink up my butterfly. So I'm using the Tuxedo Black, Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to stamp this twice. So I'm going to do one, and I'll do the second one. Okay, so we're going to go through a little bit of a fun technique with these ones, just showing you how you can decorate and turn your butterflies, make them a little bit more interesting. So there we go. So I've got my second butterfly. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the wings. All right. So this is where it's a slightly, so you can use these in solid colours. So I'm going to go with Pool Party to start off with. So we just ink up these, make sure it actually sticks to the block. Just need to clean it. Try that again. All right, ink up the part of the wing, and I'm just going to go straight down. So I'm just going to eyeball this and straight down like that. You can see that now gives us a very subtle colour. So I'm going to do that on both of these. So you can see, let's just coloured those wings in at the bottom. Going to come to the petal pink now. And I'm now going to ink these up. No, he says I need to change the wing first. So I do the top half in the petal pink. That's it. I'll come on to the tiny ones in a second. All right, so if you wanted to, you could just leave your butterflies as that, and then you just punch them in. So you grab your butterfly duet punch, obviously use smaller ones to colour in the top one, then you can then punch these out like so. But I want to take this just another step further with these butterflies. All right, so this is where I'm going to bring in a slightly darker colour. So I'm going to bring in the Bermuda Bay, and I'm also going to bring in the Calypso Coral. Going to bring in some sponge daubers, so I've got myself one for the Bermuda Bay and one for the Calypso Coral here. Because I've got the wings for the larger set, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of ink, and I'm just going to transfer some of this ink onto the edges. I'm not doing the whole thing, I'm just putting that over on the edges. It's going to be difficult to see. You can see a little bit of shading there, but just trust it, it's there. So you just want to just kind of kiss the edge. And then we're going to go back over that again. So we're going to position that back over the top. And we'll see the difference. You can just about see it there. You can see now that there's a little bit of shading in there. If you wanted to make that a little bit darker, we just go over that again. And we just come in a little bit further. So for the second one, I'm doing that a little bit heavier. So I'm going to come over. And I'm just going to so can you see there we've got a bit of shading going on. Going to also now grab the Bermuda Bay one, and I'm just going to pop a little bit in the wings in the middle there. And back over once more. We'll transfer some of that down to there as well. Don't need to re-ink up again, so I'm just going to do that on the second one. There's enough ink still on that dauber still. And there we go. So let's just clean that one off for a second. Put that to one side. Grab back the bottom part of the wings again, and we will grab the Bermuda Bay. And we would then just kiss this on the edges, like that. And we go down, and we do exactly the same again. Sponge daubers are perfect for just transferring some different colours, and obviously you don't contaminate your ink pads then. And as before, grab the Calypso Coral, so the contrasting colour, and we're just going to add a little bit on the sides or wherever you want it to be. Just to kind of tie in the top and the bottom just a little bit more. Like that. So that's how you can then colour in your butterflies, just to take them to another level. I'm going to also do the same with the top one. So the top one, let's just clean that off for a moment. So the top ones, you grab the stamp set again. You can either have them here where you can colour in both wings at the time, or you can do different colours like we've done top and bottom if you wanted to for those ones there. I'm just going to keep this simple. I'm just going to go with this whole solid stamp. So I'm going to do these in Petal Pink. So I'm going to ink them all up in Petal Pink. Grab the Bermuda Bay and then just give them a slight colour on the wings on the outside. Line it up over the top of the butterfly, and then down we go. And there you go, and you transfer the ink over to that one. So we'll do that on the second one again here. Petal Pink and some Bermuda Bay, just kiss that on. And down we go. If you struggle with placement on this, then you might want to consider getting the Stamparatus, the Stampin tool, to help you with product placement. I am slightly off a little bit, but I've not done too bad on that one. That's the joy of having photopolymer stamp sets, is that you can see through it, and that's what they're designed to do. So good, there we go. There's my colouring done. So let's just pop my inks away. And you can do this technique with any inks which you've got. As long as you've got some of those sponge daubers, you can do this technique, and it's a great little technique. So there we go, and you can see the difference there. All right, so let's grab the punch. So no fussy cutting, just punch it out. So we're just going to line this up now. That's that, and again. So there we go. What I will do is I'm going to grab the body now of the large one, and I am just going to stamp the body in. I didn't do this beforehand because of the placement, because the placement needs to be dictated to actually where the punch is. So I found it easier to do the body afterwards. Position that over, look through, and then commit, and down we go. There we go, and we're going to do that one on. Yeah. All right, so good. There is a body for the smaller one, but I'm going to leave that one off for these. So excellent, that's that part done. Let's just move the ink out so I don't drop any card in it. And we're going to bring these, so we'll just shuffle those over for a moment, and that as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the sentiment, which we've done up. Now that this is nice and stuck down here, I'm going to grab my glue again, and I am going to just pop some glue on the panel. Not going to do it on this one here, because if I put glue on the outside and this side, it's going to end up sticking to the card base. I need it to actually move. Now, if I remember correctly, I decided I was going to actually put this on dimensionals, all right, because I think it would look better. So I decided, so not using glue, we're going to use some dimensionals instead. On the original one, I'll show you at the end, I used glue, which is absolutely fine. Same principle, you do want to make sure that the glue goes onto the panel here. I'm using a few because I want it to be good, I want it to be stuck. All right. I don't want it to move. So I'm using a lot, but I'm making up for not actually using glue. So we're just going to take these off. Because it's an interactive card, there's going to be movement, so which is why the more I'm using, the more adhesion I'm going to have. All right, so we're going to then stick this onto, so we're just going to centralize it, so we've got an even amount sticking over both sides, and I'm just going to stick it down like that. Okay, so that's that one right there. Good. Now what we're going to do is we will decorate the other panel up. So this is the one where I've already pre-cut it out with the stitch label, and I've already matted and layered it on the pool party. So which is good for that one. I'm just going to grab myself a bit of scrap paper, because what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to grab in the blends. So again, you can use any technique you want, but this is another way of blend. So you just grab your blend into the lid, and you just want to then just flick. Just do some artistic splatting, very technical term, artistic splats. And I'm going to use the petal pink as well, just to add another colour in there. So they are all the colours which coordinate with this card anyway, so everything is colour coordinated. So you see what I've done there? I've just added some detail, just some little texture to that at the back. Now what we will do is I'm going to pop some glue on this panel at the top here. If we can get it to work. There we go. And then this is then going to go over the top of this. And so I'm going to centralise this on the card. Now it needs to go like that. So you want to stick it so it doesn't go above that score line. Okay. So I'm going to grab my butterflies from earlier on. I'm just going to shape these. So I'm just going to bend them at the bodies. And then we'll pop a little bit of glue just on the body here. Remember, just a tiny bit of glue. I should really get myself a new glue, shouldn't I? They've all run out. So a little bit of glue on the bottom. And then what we will then do is we will then stick these around. So I'm going to go one down here. So it doesn't matter if it overlaps down at the bottom down here, but it does at the top, because it's you need that part to move freely. All right, so I've got that one, and we'll just do this one here again. So it's this wing, you don't want that wing to go over the top part. So that can go in like that. And then we grab one of the little ones. And a bit of glue on there. And that can then just go over the top there. Okay, so there we go, that's that. And then as we pull that down, it then reveals the card inside. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some glue on all of this, and I'm just going to pop another little butterfly just over there. So a bit on that, and then that butterfly is just going to sit down there like so. Okay, so and then that acts as the mechanism. So what we will do now is we'll grab our card base and put some glue on it. Now remember, the glue, no glue on this tab right here, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so everywhere else apart from that center part. And then that's going to go in like that. So good. So that's that card finished. I'm just going to add one more element to it. So you can either leave it as it is, if you think it's self-explanatory that it's a matter of pull here. But if you wanted to, what you could do on this part, which you've got from earlier on, using the sentiments here from the Make a Difference, so using the letters, we can spell out pull me. So I've got all of the letters here, and I'm going to use it on the small block. And I will grab my black again. So this is the part which we cut out earlier on. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to do this up the end here. So I'm going to spread it because I'm going to use the punch again. So I'm going to P. I'm going to grab my and clean as we go. And where's my U? So it's not going to be, it may be a little bit off, but that's fine. I'm not looking directly over it. When you're doing it, you'll be able to get right over the top of this. I can't because I've got a big camera in the way. Get it down as close as possible. And then we spell me. Take a bit more time with this when you're doing it. All right, so that's that part done. And then what we will do is, because obviously that's now off center, it's going to look odd. So we're going to grab the classic label punch again. Going to pop it in. So just going to line it up on this side over here. And then I'm going to then just line it up so it's in there, and then punch down again. Now I've made myself a smaller one. And you've also got yourself a nice little chevron one this side here as well, which you can use for something else. So if you wanted to, that can come over here. We will use the dimensionals once again. Pops these on the back of this. And then that can then sit on that tab in the center between those nice little decorative pieces. So there we go. What do you think? You like? So that's my version of the flip card, okay? It was initially, obviously I didn't mention at the beginning, it was initially inspired by a crafter, Jennifer Maguire. I've just seen her recently do it and I loved it so much I just needed to create one as well. So this is inspired by that card, or the mechanism at least is inspired by that card. There we go, a nice little thank you card. So I'm going to show you the other one. So I did one earlier on, first of all, and obviously I used the Free as a Bird stamp sets for this one, and the stitched nested label dies, which was these ones here as well. So they were what I used for the next card. I did the same colour palette, but I used the stitched nested labels, so you can see it there. Done the same thing with the pull me down the bottom, and then I've opened it up, and then I've done some masking and a thank you card on the inside as well. So there we go, there's my next one. And that one there as well. I'll show you, obviously, if you stick it down flat with glue, it's down like that, which is fine. But I've done it on some dimensionals as well. I just think it looks nice. It doesn't matter because everything kind of is going to be flat down anyway. And then they're going to do that. So everything still sticks nicely. Look how fun that is. Ta-da. Good, all right, I'm gonna sit there all day just fiddling with that. So there we go, there is my card, my flip card, using the Butterfly Duet punch and the Butterfly Gala stamp set as well, using a sponging technique with the sponge daubers. Okay, all right. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be back with you very shortly with another video. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below for any future updates as well, so we can you'll be notified whenever we make some more videos. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye for now. Bye.